It's the, it's not what we thought it would be, getting the information to law enforcement so they can make an arrest. Well, now they've done that, and but we didn't know what the task would next be. We've met and we've talked a lot, and we've been from one side of the country to the other.
Literally.
And if they keep that stuff close to their vest, that'll help them to who that is when it comes down to making an arrest.
I've been blessed. I mean, they're really walking with us.
I would also ask, let them reach out to you. It's the small things that seem to hurt the most.
Well, yeah, obviously when I showed up, and we were all just kind of split up, go different directions and hollering, looking. I spent a half an hour. Honey, it's going to get dark soon. So I went back up and called the sheriff's station, actually, is what I did, dialed in direct. They were already out there.
We've been watching, we've been seeing on Facebook and stuff.
Because the girls were out of school, the local police, the sheriff, people were walking around the trails. We started searching again in the early morning, sometime around noon.
We don't do anything.
My secret keeper?
We are doing everything that we can to help the law enforcement. His face out there, that his face isn't staring at him.
Well, every morning I wake up, I walk down the hallway to stay on task here, to go out and catch this guy. Because I truly believe, Doctor, that somebody out there knows this guy. Somebody knows something. Help us out. Catch this guy.
There are days that we get up. The last thing sometimes is that this is all real. And listening to our story again every day, it's...
What goes through your mind?
So high.
It was shocking to me by the police this entire time that there wasn't any information there. Obviously, it really is just, it takes your breath away to actually see that, so close, here,
Coming out of Delphi, that was a pretty awesome experience. Thousands of people were in attendance. Go things from the cuff, but my mind's been a blur to the people. And I was raised, we're allowed to play 2 roles in our life. There's not a day that goes by. Our minds at this stage are stirred in the deepest sorrow one can't imagine. And this will be a void, leave a hole in our souls. Our family, friends, neighbors, local community across the state, the nation, and even across other continents. She was determined to play a part in the field of sciences. From crafty projects she did to strange experiments she was doing, so she could run off to her room and turn it into something special. And it's really about awareness and keeping the pressure on this case. And it's always about the messaging, sharing that out there. Somebody out there knows something. I wouldn't say it's been debunked. I mean, definitely a tip that's been turned in, and I know they're investigating it. Just that we've kind of trained ourselves as a family or...
Well, yeah, absolutely. I think that, and thanks for having me on, but with the police reaching out like this and asking for help, at least in my opinion, we need the public's help to get this done. And this is a great opportunity. I've been through it several times over the last several months, trust me. Kind of just reiterate really what Doug had alluded to as well, is I really do appreciate the media. They've really been very helpful to us and very appreciative of that. And while this is another chapter, I want to make sure that we continue that, and let's keep that open out there, keep that flowing, keep the information coming in. I want to make sure we get as much information for the investigators and specifically the prosecutor.
Weapon, no weapon, none of that even matters.
In the spotlight.
I owe it to the girls. The girls deserve this. We need to get this guy caught. And while I can't actively work the investigation, Rich, I can actually help draw tips in and bring information to the case.
That is a lot of money, and if you have any information that may help police solve the Delphi case.
Our granddaughter, Libby, was flat out killed. For what? No clue.
The girls stuck together right up to the end.
We've had a lot of people working, NASA, Disney, you name it, we've worked on it, we've tried.
Of a man there at the time, right?
That is correct.
Yes.
Yeah, that was from an eyewitness person who saw person and actually become friends. But you're right, you owe me. You owe me something. But I'm going to work as hard as I can to help you deliver, and you know that.
and I maintain that position, and I'm not going to stop. I've delivered, or done my best to deliver.
We're still processing that, what's our role going to be there in that? Asking people to help. We're, I don't know, it was very, it was kind of a strange feeling that...
We live in a society and a country of...
You need to look at the facts and not try to...
Working really hard to keep their memories always alive.
Just the day before all this happened, there are too many ways to count how our lives will forever be impacted. Know how kids can be. We joked with her about this all the time. Please, to really study the picture and listen to the audio clip. Someone out there knows this person or persons. Family member, friend, husband, to review all the information and help us collect the pieces of this puzzle. Both of our families are requesting everyone to please help. Cut their hair, shaved, or started wearing different clothes. Have they changed in some strange manner that just seems a little odd? No, he's not like that. Let law enforcement run that information and make that determination.
Let's continue to fan out and look. I said, they're, obviously somewhere. Once we got there, of course, they're collecting as much information as they can to actually gather anything, a laptop or, if there was a tablet of any sort. And somewhere in the midst of this, obviously, it had hit Facebook and social media because it's dark. I went out and started driving around, just trying to hit myself, and another officer went down there and walked through that. And of course, there wasn't anybody there, or there was people there, but.
And I sit there, and when I look at theirs.
And I remember somebody asked me, well, her hair is the messiest bun. She's wearing my old shirt.
Atmosphere, and to see somebody that actually goes out and actually plans and stalks and preys on our children. It's sickening. You can't negate the fact that they're definitely very interested in this account. The hundreds and thousands of texts, emails, phone calls, and thoughts are welcomed. While we work to thank everyone for their support personally, I apologize if we do not reach out to you, as this is so overwhelming we cannot keep up. Perfect strangers called off work and spent all night searching the area with our family.
It has not been solved yet. No, we've had over 60,000 tips turned in, working through all these tips. The guy's still out there, obviously. Well, obviously it was an uncanny warm winter day.
To not get too hyped up until...
For all the people that have been out there, there's been, like you said, 50,000 plus tips, and they've been very specific on what they're after. This is a great opportunity for people to be involved. Yeah, when it first came up, the name didn't ring a bell, but then as I talked with my wife, our minds were in a different place. We were just so out of it. Anytime the police ask us for something, I'm more than willing. I'll work as hard as I can to give them what they need and break it down as they're looking for.
Lots of people have called, lots of tips have come in. I've been involved in some of them, and specifically at this time, moving forward, asking for help, and you guys carry that message back out there for us, and we are so appreciative of that, and we're going to get to the top of it. We certainly are. He said he's hiding in plain sight, and that's the case.
What did you think had happened at that point?
So we were just looking for them laying somewhere.
And thought, okay, it's going to start getting dark. Let's get the police involved here.
So a lot of people came out?
Yeah. Most of the town was out. People were out all over the streets of Delphi, flashlights, walking, just groups, and hundreds of people seem to be coming out.
We don't know.
Trust me, I want this thing solved yesterday, and we can't lose sight of that, because we got to get it right, and we have to get it right. And if that missing piece of the puzzle is the piece he's needing, one little bit of information, you may think, that's insignificant. No, it's not. That's what these guys do for a living. People call me up and say, hey, I think it's so-and-so, or I got this information. I tell them I'm basically kind of becoming an investigator. I start asking the questions.
Once the arrest is made, all 50,000 tips are going to be dissected. Every single one of those tips will be dissected. And if they're not wrong, if they're wrong, it's okay.
And that's why we we want to get it right, and we're going to continue to. And it's a tough row here to hoe, you know. But I entrust in what law enforcement's doing. And so when they call me,
when they told us, you know, hey, we've got somebody detained and we're going to make an, you know, arrest him, it was like, okay. I guess all that work has started to pay off. We've gotten them the information they need.
Well, we learned early on that we have stayed nice and steady. Like, okay, I'm hearing this, but it's a process. Maybe it took all of that. Maybe it took looking further away to find him here. I don't know. I only know that I feel like we did what we had to do.
I don't know the guy. Did not know him.
We did not know him.
However small it may seem, it is extremely vital to capture every tip we can get. Please, we need your help.
and headed back up to the police station. And at some point in that, and then more people just started showing up, and I continued to drive around Delphi. Becky was at the station. Anna showed up there at one point, and then ended up reporting back to the sheriff's station later.
We've decided that we've got, for safety, it's a group decision, we've got to cancel the search for the night.
Ratty Blue Jeans, she is not dressed nice at all.
Right? And who had access to that? Who was using that account?
Merely because they felt compelled to help. Law enforcement officials have combined efforts and are diligently working to solve the case and bring some closure.
Snow makeup day. We have days built in for heavy snow, but and there were a lot of other kids there, and then they just went missing, and a search ensued that night, and we continued to work or look for them all evening and even into the wee hours of the morning.
At all, any information that they give, whatever social media platform they may have used to make contact there, if anybody has any recollection of that, is to call or email that information in. You know, be as specific as you can. Obviously, it'll help them get to the next step.
Don't consider this case solved until the investigators say that. I don't know the gentleman personally at all, you know, so definitely I don't know him. We still got now we got a big mountain ahead of us, and we're going to stay after it. We haven't ever given up, and you guys haven't given up on us.
You were there,
Yeah.
looking around.
Yes.
Yeah. You were there,
Yeah.
looking around.
Yes.
Yeah.
And say, Mike, we got it.
Good prevails. If it didn't, we wouldn't live in a civilized society.
I don't recall, anything specific. No, could have saw him in CVS, but
It's nice to think that nobody from our area would ever do something like that. But to be realistic, there's sick people everywhere.
please, we need your help. At this time, I'd also like to thank law enforcement and officials, along with our employers, pastors, the people and businesses of this great community across the state, nation, and beyond, who have pulled together around us, providing help and support in so many ways. From fundraisers, food for our families and law enforcement.
And at that time I begged them not to. When he's caught, you'll hear us celebrating.
How did this happen? How did this happen? Was there any indication that there was a predator?
Is there a there? Potentially. But, again, I got to kind of rely on the investigative team.
How did this happen? Was there any indication that there was a predator among you, that there was anybody of suspicion in your community?
Can be swiftly apprehended.
Yes. I hate to say it that it's gotten easier. Learn to live with it,
I want to hope that they do, but they obviously have a lot more information. They're not laying all their cards on the table. They threw a couple of them out there.
Until I get a call from investigators, I want to make sure that we have everything we possibly need and more. I don't want to leave any stone unturned.
He just disappears.
Well, actually, I'm not. I'm focusing on what I'm looking for at that time. it's not going to hurt any less.
Well, I hope it's not somebody I know.
All of these items help.
Will they make it through the night?
You too.
This is not a big town here.
No, our town has 3,000 people.
Here's an opportunity to really help and aid in this space, you know, and help in this case.
If you know anything,
Because we do have other family, right?
And are asking, the public for help.
I'm not considering this to be an arrest.
I don't feel like I thought I would.
That's 41 minutes.
Yes,
and
at that time, he started walking the trails. He called me at 3:30, so he had already been there.
He said, don't become cynical like me. And on his deathbed, I told him, Dad, I'm not cynical, but I'm getting close, and I'm fighting it.
Yes, good and the truth will always prevail. Yes, good and the truth will always prevail. We certainly hope it's in our lifetime, and I certainly hope it's here and now for us. That'll come in time, and we want that so badly. I can't think like this guy. I've tried to put my mind in the same place, and I've tried to use some kind of weird psychological, why would this guy think, and why would he do something like that? And I've been out there and think the same things. And
Never give up. Never give up. Keep pursuing it, and make sure you work together. We've always worked together as a family on this. We conquer, divide. All members of our family, have played a role in this. All members of our family, have played a role in this. All members of our family, have played a role in this.
I think it's okay to take one of our lives.
I've had a lot of friends, associates that have called and said, hey.
But again, we're asking everyone to study the picture and audio, then report any information you may have to the tip or email line.
What they said to me at that time was, will they have youth on their side?
You too. Have a great day.
No, we have no clue if there was somebody walking among us.
It's what's gotten us to this point. It just keeps taking us further. And to collectively, with everybody's help.
We also say thank you for all the generous donations for the reward fund. To the individuals, groups, businesses, all of which are too numerous to name.
I've always said that I would be screaming on the rooftops, but we're not. It's sad.
But he's really not. His soul is closed and dark and cold.
That's a good point.
He goes to sleep like you and I do every single night.
So, what do they need? And I constantly ask them, what can we do?
They checked our family out. Somebody called it in.
With their donation, the reward fund is now well over $200,000.
But I found out after Mike picked me up, after they did that.
And the thing of it is like the girls weren't really out there by themselves.
There are some things we'd like to do and honor her life. We also want to honor her by supporting the sports programs she loved. To honor her both memory and passion for these things, we've established a GoFundMe account available at gofundme.com.
We have other grandkids, we have children.
And it's, I don't see this a lot, in a lot of cases here, but they're truly asking everybody, hey, pitch in. And that's what it's going to take is a broad view of this, and for a lot of people to pitch in and get this done.
The other donations we received in Libby's name and her name. And the rest of the funds we hope to be used to build a softball field and park.
Yeah, I think I ran you back home.
There were other kids out there. It was a fluke.
And then he wakes up, and the last thing he thinks of is what he did. And the first thing in the morning, he wishes it would go away. I know that to be true. I just really do.
How can we help? Tell me what you need. What can I do? How can I help?
They're not mad. They're not upset. They just did it. And,
that is why always, for a minute, you're happy that he's caught.
So they'll be remembered forever and have something for everyone to enjoy.
And I went back in to the fire station, and they asked me, hey, what do you want to do? And I said, well, I want to find them.
So there were many kids out there throughout the day.
Right.
We've talked to many of them.
But the majority of our time has been spent pursuing this suspect, and finding, and avenging our granddaughter's death.
I mean, she really loved, going to school. She got bored with it at times. She was very, very smart.
Then I can say we have the guy.
While there's somebody that's been arrested, there is,
For 16 minutes.
That I just don't believe that he has got a clean soul, and he'll never, ever, ever be able to cross the gates of heaven.
And while you're so happy that we got this.
Now, I would like to thank the news media. I've had several conversations with many of you. Your professionalism and respect for our families has been honorable.
And while you're so happy that we got this arrest, you wonder, why can't we get them all?
Let's go back out and let's light up that creek. So we kind of started at the bridge, and I don't know how many there were, if it was 20 or 50, but both sides of the creek, we had people walking, flashlights, everything was going. And I said, all right, looks like morning it is. And
Do you believe that there is someone there?
Absolutely. Yeah. I don't give up easy.
Sure.
She, big part of our family.
how do we help now to make sure we have the right person, to make sure there's a conviction? How do we help now to make sure we have the right person, make sure we have the right person?
And another way I look at that is for him. And you're right, he may be walking amongst us, but he's got to be continually looking over his shoulder.
Absolutely.
It's not a good way to live.
There has to be a way. There has to be a way to catch all of them.
But through your persevering coverage and help with this investigation, we are confident that together we can bring justice to those responsible for this horrible crime.
Can't remember how, I think I got a ride. Somebody give me a lift, like on a Ranger or Gator or something, back up to the fire station. And by this time, it's right around noon or whatever time I can't remember.
Mike was where he said he was, and in this big old field. And I thought, boy, this is pretty dumb. And she come running back and said, they found him. That's how I had a jump on knowing.
Something else put them in a position of vulnerability.
We come to all these crime cons. I do about every interview. Somebody calls me, somebody asks me to do an interview.
Yeah.
It's now gone, and she's missing out.
So any information pertaining to this case, that's certainly, I want to get that to the investigative team and let them vet that out.
You're fearful that that person or those people
I'm
might
not-
have
I'm
had
not-
a role in the actual crime itself.
I don't know any of that information, what you're asking.
Do you think there's anybody in this town that knew about this and kept their mouth shut?
I don't know, that would be speculation, really. I mean, what do you think?
It's a small town.
Sure is.
A lot of people who know each other.
Yeah, I'll save those words when I see him face to face.
And I remember turning around. I was all excited they found him. But about that time, Mike come up. And he took me over.
I didn't have time to help her.
I spent a couple of weeks out here shortly after, just scanning the woods and creek banks.
Do you believe that there is someone there?
Absolutely. Yeah. I don't give up easy.
Sure.
We come to all these crime cons. I do about every interview.
So many things.
Well, it's not an area that I really frequent.
Well, for myself personally, of course, I'm angry down inside, and I don't let that out.
Oh, I believe that she helped lead them. I believe that she was steering all along.
Thank you very much. Well, it's too bad it had to happen like that, But yeah, it was. Well, first off, I'd like to address that is
I don't know exactly what happened out there that day. That was without standing all of our grandkids, all of our children, everything. That's just it, you know, whatever it is. Send a text message, it's always.
And I was sitting there waiting.
But knowing the area like I do, I'm not going to say it didn't happen because I wasn't there that day.
Right.
I'm not going to say it didn't happen because I wasn't there that day.
Right.
If not more, that people swear they've seen people.
Something, yeah. And I, you know, my wife posts every day on Facebook that today's the day.
It's not right.
But, I mean, your point is...
I try to think my way through things.
When we see him, you think?
I love you.
No, but
Well,
it was all over. I mean, I don't know who specifically did. Well, I don't want to exclude anybody or anything because, and just due to the location of the area, you know, one would, with common sense, would think, yeah, the person's been around there, you know, at least a time or two to just understand the lay of the land per se.
And that's really hard because then the more people looked at it.
And one of these days we're going to be right.
All right. Well, thank you for the time and helping get the message out there.
Yeah, it's definitely because we didn't know where he was.
Am I angry down inside about it? Yes, I'm angry. I'm frustrated. I'm disappointed.
We thought we were prepared. We thought we were ready for it.
Well, obviously, yeah, we would like to see somebody.
Because we all know, you know, I can jump in a car tonight and in the morning, you know, but don't drive too fast. But, you know, you could be on a coast. You know, you could be in the south, you know, you go down to Florida. You could be on the East Coast. West Coast is a lot longer drive, but I'm just saying.
Right. And it's your theory that this is likely the killer?
Absolutely.
Somebody knows who this person is that caused such evil in a wonderful place.
You've been non-specific about how the actual crime was committed. You do know how it occurred, correct?
We do.
Wow. And she's pretty faithful about that. I mean, no, I'll save that for when I see him face to face. No, I'll save that for when I see him face to face. It was a, you know, it's, I just know that there's another job.
But, you know, to lash out at somebody in just raw anger, what value will that provide?
Well, boy, that went right out the window.
I'm relying on law enforcement, you know, and the efforts that they're putting forward. I'm very impressed with the steps that they go through whenever they receive.
and we're not going to tunnel vision. We don't have that option to focus in on just one person. We're always open. There are so many scenarios.
This is the best we can do.
Absolutely, yep.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for talking with me and good meeting you.
Thank you, brother.
I'm good and pissed off, frankly, for all the reasons we've already talked about. And my soul's getting eaten from the inside out.
And that'll probably go right out the window, too. So, does anybody really know?
There's the cohesive, you know, work between the state police, the county police, the FBI, and the city police, and officers from all over that are coming in is just truly impressive. You know, I truly feel we're going to get to the bottom of this, and that's why I'm asking for help out there.
We don't focus on anyone.
I can tell you that they're still diligently working away at it. There's still a team of people, but there is a team of dedicated people. Obviously, I talked to the investigative team.
What did you think had happened at that point?
We're going to keep after it. We're not going to stop. Every bit of information that's out there pertaining to this case, I want the investigative team to have that information.
And I just can't help but to think that it would be an opportunity for him.
It's overwhelming. The support that we receive from the community, the schools, her friends, you know, law enforcement, just the public, our friends, co-workers. It's.
I always tell them, so you know, I'm going straight to the investigative team with this.
There's a search underway, right? You said a lot of people came out.
That's what the courts will decide, right? But I'm confident. I've always had confidence in the investigative team.
To release what he's feeling inside.
It's overwhelming, and the support is welcomed. You know, and we could surely use that right now.
You know, some people just don't feel comfortable. So I kind of act as or I just call them and say, hey, is there any updates? Where we at?
Most of the town was out. People were out all over the streets of Delphi, flashlights, walking, just groups, and hundreds of people seem to be coming out to help us look.
People split up and went through each finger of that trail system.
You were there, looking around.
Yes.
Yeah. You don't see anybody. You don't see the guy, and he just disappears.
And they're nonstop.
Who asked that?
Yep.
Who asked that?
Already back here.
Don't get me wrong, we've had our share of shots taken at us, and that's fine. And hopefully those people will now be able to reflect in the mirror and say, oh, maybe that wasn't the case. So,
Daily, multiple times. Well, I'm hoping through the, if you want to call it the speech, or what I mean, that we developed or that we put together there and read. But this is a hurdle that needs to be knocked down, and with the help of law enforcement, I truly believe it will. But we need somebody out there. Somebody knows something.
You were there. Let's listen to this carefully. Do you hear it? Down the hill, down the hill, down the hill, down the hill, down the hill.
We all know that.
Well, that's a lot of what we have right now, and the support of the public, and again, all of our friends and everything that is coming into us. I mean, that's where we're gaining our strength right now.
Okay. And they, in fact, were found down the hill.
Evil people, truly evil. They don't care if you live or die.
I'll talk about the rumors here shortly. Yes.
Well, obviously, it's troubling for us as well as the whole community, the state, the nation.
They're all still doing that pretty much full time. I mean, they got other duties that come along as well, but they are just maintained and focused on it. Here's our top 3 candidates, Mike. What do you think of these guys? I don't want them to do that. I want to protect him, because when we make an arrest, the second step of this is the prosecution. Have enough evidence to make sure it's the right person. We got the right guy. Have enough evidence to make sure it's the right person. We got the right guy. It's a bigger thing here, and that's to get to the end result.
That may have been him ordering them to get away where anybody could see them, to get down the hill.
And that's just how we are, right?
We're holding this conference. We need somebody out there who has that vital piece of information to turn this in.
Well, obviously, I don't know all the information that they have, whether it's, you want to call it evidence or information, in and around this case. I would support anything to kind of expedite this whole process. I mean, these guys they're professionals. They're using, the tools in their tool belt to kind of solve this case. And if they feel that there's information that's pertinent that can be released, but they still have enough kind of in their hip pocket to go through with the prosecution, we're definitely in support of that.
That may have been him ordering them to get away where anybody could see them, to get down the hill.
Alexis, we're not going to speculate right now on where they're from, and I'll get into that here shortly.
I don't know that I have a comment right now. I haven't thought that far ahead, to be honest with you. So,
Whatever that was, and I don't know because I wasn't there. You know what I mean? We don't have that piece of information. In my opinion, or the girls, they say, I'm not going down the hill. You crazy?
That's exactly what it was that should have the opportunity presented itself. They didn't. We don't know that it did, but we feel very strongly. We knew that they would have got lost even farther.
But we talk a lot about photo buff anyway. That's why the girls were out there taking pictures. That's why they went out there in the first place, just to catch the scenery, do some video with each other, and that's just part of what kids do.
I owe that explanation to Mike Patty and his family, and to many other members of the family.
I just that conversation hadn't come up yet. I'm going to kind of lean on law enforcement that kind of help direct that, you know what I mean?
Were they found near a trail? I mean, there are trails, they say, that go all through here. Were they found near a trail? How far off of a trail?
I don't cast judgment on something until I know for sure. And travel down this path, but I wish I'd have met the man on different circumstances. We could have become friends a different way, and then we could sit around and joke and laugh and cut up about different things. And
So please, if you know anything, we're asking for those tips.
I'll ask for it, I guess, if you would, I'm going to ask the question, hey, what are we going to do? Are we going to do something? Is there anything else to release?
Well, you got to remember, Delphi doesn't have anything but parks and trails. That's what we have for the kids to do. But we switch sketches.
You want to know it, right?
I so appreciate you saying that way. We even had a cold beer in California once.
I think we did. Maybe a couple of them. And that was an enjoyable moment as well.
There are rumors that started to go. Yeah, spreading unconfirmed information or rumors could be detrimental to our case. Spreading those unfactual rumors could be detrimental. It could slow the process. If it does not come from us, please hold off on spreading those rumors.
We may say, oh, I can't believe this, but there's still lots of people that don't know about our case.
But please remember, this is not unlike any other rural community anywhere in America.
Did anybody in town see this person before in the week leading up to, or any time?
And stopped me and said, what is this? I'm trying to get this out there. Have you ever heard about Abby and Libby? It's free. It's free, and it just takes a minute of your time.
What I believe is there's somebody that knows who that person is, even though they can't see their face. Somebody knows who this person is that caused such evil in a wonderful place.
Well,
that's a great point. That continuing to spread that information out there, because I truly believe that somebody out there knows something. Basically, a free man, and it's not right.
And another thing, a lot of people thought about it or something at one time.
Are there persons of interest who look eerily like this man?
Well, that spreads faster than a no, they didn't get him. So just to remind people, he's still out there.
And think about it. And maybe you do a better job. You remember that guy. It's a tough thing to do. I mean, obviously, with everything we've been through, we look at things a little differently now, with a little more scrutiny, but if that makes sense. I mean, it's going to be between them two somewhere. Either one of them is going to be spot on.
Here's how I looked at that.
There's no question about it.
So if I were given that description,
60's young now. Yeah. Telling you.
I know that's been a big thing out there, that Derek hasn't stepped up and spoke out. And then you have to stop and think, was he a snitch? Did he narc? Was he a confidential informant? But he was out there. He was the one out there searching for her. He was probably there when they were killed. And he knows that.
And somebody knows who this person is.
And couldn't save his daughter, just so they can slam him.
And we have given him every opportunity, and he knows the door's open. If he wants to talk, it'll happen. And he's working a lot on the park right now.
And you've been non-specific about how the actual crime was committed, the manner of death, correct?
Yes.
I think that's good for him. I get tired and frustrated, and gives me a second breath. May not last as long on the second breath as I did the first one, but it certainly does.
Thousands upon thousands rolling into Delphi, and the string of bikes was 20 miles long.
Somebody knows something somewhere.
We don't know.
Whenever we see something come up, whether it's through social media or news outlets or whatever, of course, I'm usually texting away and saying, hey, have you guys, yep, we're on that. Yep, we're on that,
Now, please do not waste their time. Don't prank here and be an internet troll.
They are definitely looking at that. And then back to how they're not keeping a closed mind, you know, because could two people be involved? Yeah. I mean, until we know and we have somebody arrested or have enough information to know exactly what happened that day, you got to kind of keep an open mind. You can't get, you know, become closed-minded or narrow focused.
But if you know something, then you need to say something.
Because, I mean, I got my personal opinions, you know. We definitely have a picture of a guy that we want to talk to coming across that bridge. Well, nothing has been shared back out. Like the police have come to me and say, hey, Mike, here, we're going to share this with you, but you can't tell anybody about it. No, that hadn't happened. Because there again, that's all back to the integrity of that. Because while I want to know, you know what I mean? Because it's not like the old Wild West where I can jump on my horse and I'm heading to the next town to find who it is. Give me everything you got, because I'm going on the hunt for when the day comes, you know, the day of reckoning for this guy. I don't want to have anything jeopardize that. Only thing, I mean, no. I mean, it's not like they come out and said, Mike, here's exactly where it was, and here's where we found it. Here's how we found it. But my assumption is it was found right near the crime scene, you know.
If you have any information about this case, please call the number provided. As I say, it will be posted on all of my social sites. Thank you so much for watching.